This is why we take care of our home. We protect our house. Have fun, play together. Be confident. Believe you can do it. Let's go.
Destiny Walker drains the three.
That was deep. You can tell she has shot a million of these.
She's going to put her head down and drive her way to the rim. Peoples finds Gilbert in transition for a basket and a foul.
I like that.
Westbeld open. She'll try for three. Oh, it's all white twine for Maddie Westbeld.
You talked about the shooting, but how about the passing?
Wash, rinse, repeat. Mabry again. Oh my goodness. She has just been deadly here in this second half. And just like that, here come the Irish.
Welcome, everyone, to the Niele Ivey Show. We get a chance to visit with Coach Ivey and many other wonderful features in our show, and we're glad you're with us. Our show brought to you by TireRack.com. They invite you to take advantage of all the great things that they're doing. And, folks, if we're talking about running and passing and three-point shots, well, the experts at the Tire Rack have a performance of a different kind on their minds, and including non-contact mobile installation in many areas, easy-to-use tire decision guide, and free shipping. TireRack.com, that's the way tire buying should be. We're back with Coach Niele Ivey in our breakdown segment in just a moment. And welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. And Niele, we get a chance to do our breakdown segment and some good news and some tough news along the way since our last gathering. The Irish have gone 3-2 and competing very well with everybody in the conference. And there have been some highlights, and kids continue to work hard. And what happened to the roster? It expanded.
Yes, we have two new additions. Olivia Miles, my first signee, come from New Jersey, came from Blair Academy, and Danielle Cosgrove has rejoined us. She took a leave of absence last semester, so super excited about both of those players joining the team.
Well, we got to talk about Olivia Miles' debut. I mean, she's on the floor for about 30 seconds, has a steal, a basket, an assist. I mean, she came out ready to play and really highlighted that basketball IQ that she has.
She's a tremendous point guard, such great vision, a lot of confidence. You know, I was so proud of her. You know, she's only practiced for three days last week, came in 2 weeks ago, had a quarantine. So just the fact that she could show up in a Carrier Dome playing against an incredible Syracuse team and play with such confidence shows a little bit what she's going to bring to this program.
And of course, she was able to play a few more minutes maybe than you would have expected in her first go-around. But we had some injuries. We're still waiting for Caitlin Gilbert to get back, and Anea Peoples still is not 100% with that ankle.
Yeah, you know, Anea's coming off her ankle injury. She was out all last week. And like you said, Kate, is kind of day-to-day, just getting out of her boot, you know, trying to get her balance back with her foot. So a lot of injuries. But again, you know, we have a lot of depth, and every game, you know, everyone this entire group is ready to perform whenever their name is called. So Olivia was ready when I called on her.
Well, you mentioned Danielle Cosgrove as well, and it was great to see Danielle back. And she's a young lady that really got things in order. She felt like she wasn't ready to go the way she wants to, and she took some time off, came back, and seems to be really excited about being back with the program.
Oh, she's in such a great space. Excited for her to be back. We missed her a lot, and she was just so ready to come back again. You know, she had took some time away from home, away from campus, went home, and it's just in a really happy space. She came back. I was really impressed by the way she came back in great shape. So she worked out while she was at home. And so I'm really happy for where she's at this point. And again, it's more depth in the post position, which we need. And just, she does a great job. She can extend the defense with her 3-point shooting, and she has the experience, you know, playing in the ACC. So really excited for her to be back with us.
Let's take a look back at what's been going on since our last show. You had a chance to win 3 in a row, which is great in the ACC conference. It started off with Wake Forest, a 79-72 win for the Irish, and a lot of good balance in that game.
Absolutely. I thought we played really, really well together. Wake Forest, a dangerous team, have, you know, phenomenal post presence and really good guard play with Conti, their point guard. So I thought we did a great job of protecting our home court. We played a complete game. Thought we played really well together. Had a great chemistry that game, so was really happy with that win.
And 79 points. I mean, we're putting some points on the board, and that's a very good sign, because I know last year we averaged about 85 points a game, and we've had games where we've had right around that average. So it's a good sign for the Irish. And then I thought one of the big highlights maybe for this season is how we bounced back against Boston College and showed some real toughness in that game.
Absolutely. That game at Boston College, that was the first time that we had a lead and lost it right in the fourth quarter. And, we had to come back, work on our press break, work on us. And I felt like we really worked really hard, got better, very resilient in our process. And then we came back, like you said, with toughness. And that was something that it's hard to even teach that. And so the fact that they were locked in, they focused on what we needed to work on, and they brought that and got better. We had an opportunity to play them 11 days from that loss in Boston. And that was just great to see, great balance. We handled their pressure. And I felt like we really got better that day.
And you had people diving on the floor. I mean, everybody's fighting for every loose ball. And that's kind of an attitude that goes back to the coach who's playing days showed a lot of that kind of mentality.
Oh, absolutely. This conference every night is a battle. And so you have to be prepared, and every team in the ACC is going to fight for 40 minutes. And that's something that this group is starting to really, possess, as far as understanding that you have to bring it for 40 minutes. And that game, and especially because Boston College is one of the toughest opponents, because they press you and different defenses for 40 minutes. They have some great resilient players, and Seoul, leading the conference, doing such a phenomenal job this year. So to have that toughness and to show that toughness for 40 minutes, it was what I was really excited to see that. And again, like you said, that's how I played. So it's just, I'm happy that this team is finding a way to do that. I think Abby Prohaska, to talk a little bit about the team, she brings that toughness every day. She's competitive. She has that fire every day in practice. She's the same way. And in games, no matter what, if she's playing the 3 or the 4, she brings that for me. And we all feed off of her energy.
And she does have a lot of energy. She makes some very nice passes. She's feeling more confident shooting the basketball, and she's become a player that other teams have to respect for what she does. And again, getting after loose balls and coming up with defensive stops, taking a charge.
Yes,
is worth a lot of points. So
absolutely.
You won 2 in a row, and then you got to go on the road, which is another test for a team that's still trying to find a way to bind together and do all the things you want them to do. And they did it against Virginia Tech. You win 65-60 in that game. They came back late in the game, but you found a way to handle the pressure and get the ball up the floor and hold them off at the end.
Yeah, I thought we set the tone that game. We went up, I think, 21 in the first half, had a substantial lead. And that we played great together. I felt like our offense was clicking. I felt like we were doing a great job against Kitley and Shepherd. Defensively, she had 4 points at the half. So I think we did a really good job just following the game plan defensively. Was blessed to have a great lead going into the second half, and then we to withstand their run. I thought Shepherd started getting hot in the fourth quarter, and I felt like we learned from the Wake Forest game and the two Boston College games, of learning how to finish games, how to execute down the stretch, getting the big stops we needed to get, and found a way to win that game at Virginia Tech, which was a really, really tough team and tough place to play. So very proud of that effort and going 3 in a row in that stretch.
Did a very good job against Kitley in that game. She's one of the top players in the league, and she was expecting maybe to feel a little more comfortable at home, and found some bodies leaning on her down low.
Yes, absolutely. I thought Mick did a great job. I thought she played very well that game. Her presence was needed that game. Thought we did a good job of double teaming with Sam and Maddie, throwing some different looks at them defensively, and did a pretty decent job of getting a hand and face on Shepherd. But that was the key, to try to contain Shepherd and Kitley. And I thought we did the job on Kitley.
You had a little bump on the road coming up after that. Another road game, tough test against North Carolina. Again, a team that has a lot of talent, and people that almost, they wait every year for a chance to play Notre Dame, and they beat us when we were number 1 in the country a couple of years ago.
Yes, they did.
It's a tough house to play in, and they get some, again, 2 players had their performance of the year against us, and it was just a tough night against a very good team.
Yes, and something that I've always communicated with our team is that every game, obviously ACC is a tough conference, and every game we're playing against a tough opponent. But also, a lot of teams they get up to play us. You know, we're the Super Bowl sometimes, and most of the time. And so it's just preparing to make sure that we are ready going in other people's courts and arenas. And that game, I felt like we came out flat energy wise. We really didn't get going until the end of the second quarter. And then the third quarter, I felt like we started playing better together. But I thought North Carolina did a great job setting the tone. I felt like they really attacked us. They were very aggressive. And then, had two great career performances from two of their guards. And it was something that, came down to late game situations. We didn't get the stops we needed to get and didn't execute offensively. So unfortunately, we lost that game. But, hats off to North Carolina. I thought they played a complete game and played really well.
Yeah, and Bailey's a big presence inside for them, too. Again, another big, strong player inside, and it was a big part of the battle against North Carolina.
Yes, and Malou, I thought she played really well. I thought they battled inside, got a lot of, paint touches. They did a really good job on the boards. That was an area I thought we got out-rebounded. And I feel like, their rebounds assisted to, 3-point plays or 3-point shots, especially from Stephanie Watts that game. So it was something that we had to learn. And again, just being on the road, those are the games that we're learning on the fly still the entire season. And defense and rebounding have to be the keys for us to be successful.
And it's kind of a strange situation with the way the road games are mounting up. You're going to live out of a suitcase here for about a month before we get a chance to play at home on the 18th. And again, just recently, the most recent game for the Irish, big lead in that game, got away late, but that's a team that, we knew going to Syracuse. We have a lot of respect for their head coach and all their players. They had a 6'7" freshman who was a big factor in that game as well. But you come out and you really executed maybe as well as you can for that first half.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we did a great job. We came out, we were ready, game plan. I thought that they were really focused. I think it worked the first half, that we got comfortable, had a really great stretch with Destiny, Sam. I thought Sam was the difference in the game, to be honest. She had 19 points, but she came out with aggression. She shot the ball really well, was very comfortable fighting defensively. We handled their press well, got out running. And then I think in the second half, when they went on their run, we got stagnant, got cold offensively. And then the fourth quarter, we just couldn't find our flow offensively. We only scored 4 points in that quarter, which is probably the lowest, offensive scoring of all of our games this year. But with Syracuse, it's a tough place to play. I thought Cardoso was phenomenal. She had 9 blocks, 18 points. Thought they had great balance. Tiana did a great job of leading them. Great floor general. And unfortunately, we just couldn't find it in the fourth quarter. And that's the area that we're going to work on to improving, is finishing games and playing to win and not playing to lose.
Well, again, you had a big lead at halftime and kept that lead into the third quarter. And it seemed like it was just a couple of plays, a couple of possessions turned around, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. And we've been on that slide before, and it's gotten away from us. But this is a team that continues to battle, and as you said, you got to find a way to finish. And with more ball handlers and a better chance to break the pressure, I think we're going to be very successful.
Yeah, I'm always going to stay encouraged. I have a great group. Like you said, like they fight, they compete. Yes, we were disappointed in the loss, but I always feel that there's always a lesson that you can learn from a loss. So this week we're going to work on, our offense, defense, and just working on scrimmaging, trying to find ways to get great chemistry in the fourth quarter. I think that's an area that we have to get better at, and I think that we will. Late game situations, late shot clock, taking a good shot, taking care of the ball, all that matters in the fourth quarter of learning how to finish a game. I think that's the growth, the area that we need to grow as a group. But again, I wouldn't want to go to battle with any other team. So excited to have the opportunity to rest this week, work on ourselves, work on getting better, and prepare for Louisville next Sunday.
Yeah, we talked about Anea's ankle, but Sam Brunell had to have her ankle retaped during the latter portion of the game, and she's still not 100% from that. So we continue to battle, and we're making Ann Marquez our MVP again. She's doing a great job of taking care of all the injuries.
Yeah, she's always the MVP. She's done a great job this year navigating, being our point person with COVID as far as just our protocols, and then also with so many different injuries that we've had the entire season. We've had a lot of adversity. But yeah, Naya's coming through. I think this week is going to be great for her to get even more rest to heal that ankle. And Sam is, so resilient, so I know that she'll be ready on Sunday.
A lot of good things when you look at the numbers. We're number 2 in the conference now in three-point shooting, which is outstanding and in the top 10 in the country. And we're also at 72% from the free throw line, which, I used to have to threaten them that I was going to teach them how to shoot free throws if they didn't get any better. But real solid performance at the free throw line. Our field goal percentage is good, over 46%. A lot of good things on this team.
Absolutely. We have great weapons. We have strong presence in multiple positions, and now adding another ball handler, like you said, is going to definitely help us. But yeah, we just, again, my motto always is to get better every day. So every day we got to focus on something, a small goal, attain that. Let's get better defensively, offensively, and move forward. And I think that's going to help us down the road. And again, like you said, this is a tough stretch for us. We knew that this was going to be a tough stretch. We got 3 ranked opponents on their court. And so this is an area that we're going to grow as a program and grow as a team. So looking forward to the challenge, and just praying that we stay healthy, that we can play, and, work to get better.
A lot of work going on behind the scenes, keeping everybody safe. And it's been a great effort here at Notre Dame. Everybody, the administration, Jack Swarbrick, everybody doing everything they can to make sure we can keep playing. And that's a good thing. I want to mention before we wrap up this segment about Michaela Vaughn and the job that she did at Syracuse. She had a solid game, career high, I think, in rebounding and double digits in scoring, and did a lot of good things. Only had 1 turnover the whole game, and she was as big as we could get to defend inside, and she got a little bit of foul trouble, but what a great effort.
Yes, well, I think she's done a phenomenal job just getting better every game. She's our leader, our captain, most experienced post. Her presence means everything to this team. She's ready to battle. She knows how to compete. She has the experience of the ACC, and, she's done a phenomenal job for us. And I think she continues to get better and better. Like you said, she had led us, she leading us in shot, block shots. And also last night, or yesterday, she led us in rebounding with 12 rebounds, which we need. But I know what she's going to bring every day. The loudest voice, the hardest worker. And so just really, really grateful for her presence. And I know that she will continue to help us and help us lead. And, as we finish out the ACC regular season and head into the ACC tournament.
Well, Coach, it's great to see the work that's going on, not only with the players, but your coaching staff, and having Quickies Washington and Carol Owens and Michaela Mabry, just an outstanding group, and you seem to have a real good chemistry working.
Oh my gosh, I'm working with 2 of my mentors and my mentee, Michaela. We're family. CO recruited me here. Quickies was my position coach here, and I recruited Michaela. So, Notre Dame is all about those family ties, and we just do a great job. We complement each other, and that was the goal for me as I created my staff, to make sure that I complemented my strengths and weaknesses with my staff. And I feel like I have one of the best staffs in the country. I'm blessed to have them. And it's just fun. It's a joy to work with them. They all understand, 3 former players, 3 national champions on staff. And Michaela's helped us to numerous Final Fours. And so that's the kind of the recipe for who we are at Notre Dame and what I'm trying to build in this year 1, in this Ivy era, I guess you could say. But I'm blessed to have them with me. And like I said, it's so much fun to go to battle with them every day.
We're looking forward to the schedule coming up. We're going to get a chance to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But thanks for being with us for this breakdown segment. Got a chance to look back at some of the great efforts by the Irish, and we'll be back with more of our show in just a few minutes. The Niele Ivey Show, being brought to you by TireRack.com. It's what tire buying should be about at the Tire Rack. Welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show, as we get a chance to enjoy our full court press segment, brought to you by Bowling Vision Center. And Samantha Brunell handles this segment for us, and she's going to visit with the newest member of the Fighting Irish. That is freshman guard Olivia Miles. So let's check in on Sam and Olivia.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Coach Ivey Show. This week on Full Court Press, I have Olivia Miles with me, and we are ready to dig deep and get to know a little bit more about Olivia today. So Liv is our now recent early enrollee here with the women's basketball team. She is from Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and attended prior to here. She went to Blair Academy in New Jersey, was a beast there, and exciting things moving forward with her here at Notre Dame. I like to say she's in year 0 with Notre Dame women's basketball. love COVID for some reasons. However, Liv, going into talking about kind of how you really just enrolled here, right? So you're brand new. And considering that you were just a recruit not that long ago, you literally just signed your national letter of intent to come here. I think a question that gets brought up a lot among, student athletes here is, why Notre Dame?
Yeah, when I visited, I've only visited once. So that one time that I visited, I felt an instant connection to the place, the people, and just the environment that I'd be around. And I really fell in love with it and everything about the school. And once Coach Niele got the job, it was a done deal, and it really made sense for me to be here. So.
That's awesome. And talking more about your high school accolades and some of the things that you were able to do, one of those, and maybe one of the best ones, was you were able to play for our country's team, Team USA, the U16 team, alongside of actually Sonia, who is a future Notre Dame women's basketball player next year. Can you kind of tell us how that experience was to be able to play, amongst some other elite players and, playing for your country and kind of what that meant for you?
Yeah, it was honestly something I could have never imagined. Going there and being surrounded by so many amazing girls, and not only on the basketball court, but also off the court. We just learned from each other, and we got to work. We worked hard, and we went out there, and we had one goal, was to win gold. And we did that, and we grew. And like you said, Sonia was also one of my teammates. We got super close and realized that we wanted to spend more time together, meaning, she's coming here, and I'm really excited to, start playing college basketball with her. So USA has really, really been really, beneficial to not only, my personal life, but also my basketball life. So I really appreciate that experience that I had.
That's amazing. And, kind of furthering in that, in what ways has that kind of helped you grow as a person? Because I know playing for your country means so much more than just playing basketball. It's on a world stage, and you're playing for more than just yourself.
I know. It taught me a lot of selflessness. We were all in it together. It wasn't a one-person effort. We all worked hard. We all got up really in the morning to work out, and went back in later in the day to do our second practice. So it taught a lot of determination, perseverance, and hard work to achieve what we want. So it taught a lot of valuable lessons that I'll carry with me for a long time.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you that you got to have that chance, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it only helps you grow. So I'm really happy that you got to do that. Besides basketball, though, you used to play soccer for a while. You wanted to talk a little bit about how soccer's kind of helped shape you into a better athlete?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been playing soccer way longer than I've been playing basketball. Ever since I could walk, I was kicking a ball and running around with my dad. So that was actually my first love. And, I'm going to miss it going into college, but that side of soccer where it's a solid 2 months where I'm not focused on basketball and mentally just focusing on something else. So not only mentally, but also physically, I just got a break from certain movements, the schedule, the people, everything, which in turn made me feel more comfortable and having my body adjust to certain movements and preventing injuries and getting in different kinds of shapes. And it's just so beneficial to play a second sport, because it has not only taught me different lessons, but also has helped my body to be in the best shape that it can be. So I'm really gonna miss soccer, but I'm glad that I'm here and get to train in my favorite sport.
So what kind of separated, obviously you continuing to play basketball after high school, and, what kind of made you decide to do that?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't know what I wanted to play, but as I started getting into AAU basketball and realizing how much I loved it and how much time and dedication it would take to put it into my life full time, I realized that, I would have to branch off and then pick one. And the decision was easy for me because I was already playing basketball every day and soccer was only 2 or 3 months of the year. So I knew right away that was something about it was eventually going to have to end. But it was definitely difficult, and it's hard being here and finishing my last season this fall. But like I said, I'm really appreciative for that time and being able to experience those things.
Right. And, kind of talking about time, you're obviously only a couple weeks into your transition here to Notre Dame. What's it been like to not only, be leaving high school early, but enrolling, in college and getting started with your academics at this level, and not to mention being thrown into basically the middle of a college season and, trying to learn everything and meeting a lot of new people and being with a new team. What's that been like for you?
Yeah. Like I said, when I visited Notre Dame, the environment and the people who are here are just so incredible. So the people here have really made my adjustment super, super easy and just helped me with anything that I needed. It's definitely crazy. It's definitely hectic, but there's always people in my corner here, whether it be the coaches, my teammates, even you, like you're in my ear at practice, helping me out. So I'm just really appreciative that everyone is, helping me as they understand, like, this is new and, like, I'm really young and just getting used to everything. But it's definitely been fun. Like, it's going quickly. It's kind of crazy that I've been here for almost 2 weeks now and, like, getting settled into everything. But, yeah, I have the best people around me and the best support system. So it's been easy.
I love that, Liv. Well, we're so excited that you're here with us and excited for your future and continuing year 0 with us and, just excited for that. I think lastly, I want to do something kind of fun with you. I did this at the end of the last full court press that we had with Maddie. And so I figured it'd be a little bit fun to do with you. So what we're going to do is pretty much, I call them quickies. So rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Quick answers, and we're going to go quick.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Ready? First question. If you had a pet, what kind of pet would you want and what would you name it?
I would want a dog, and I think actually a little puppy, and I think I want to name him like Leo or something like that. I like that name.
Okay, I like Leo. All right, if you better answer this right. If you could only use ketchup or mustard for the rest of your life, what would you use?
Ketchup, easily.
Ooh, I loved you. All right, would you rather be an only child or a child of 11? One child of 11.
Oh, that's a good question. I think a child of 11.
Okay. All right, chocolate or vanilla milk?
Chocolate.
All right, green or blue?
Blue.
LeBron or Jordan?
That's hard. Oh my gosh, I love them both. But I'm going to have to say LeBron because LeBron's my guy.
All right. Okay. All right. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Okay. What's your favorite veggie?
Broccoli.
All right.
Yeah, you don't like broccoli.
All right. Is socks and sandals still a cool style or not?
Always. Yes.
Love that. And last one I have is snow or rain?
Snow.
Yes, ma'am. Great answers. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Full Court Press with Olivia Miles. I hope you guys got to gain a lot from her today, and we will see you next time.
And welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. We get a chance to enjoy one of our special segments. This is one we like to call From Distance, and it features Lynette Wookie visiting with our head coach, Niele Ivey, brought to you by TireRack.com.
How are you doing, everybody? Welcome to From Distance with Lynette. I am here with Coach Ivey. How are you feeling today, Coach?
We're good. Had just had a great practice and looking forward to a big week for our program.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely super exciting. And today I wanted to talk about another exciting topic, something we love here at Notre Dame, and that's family. And I want to start off with you telling me all about your family.
I have one son, he's 18, he's a freshman at Purdue. And I'm really, really proud of him because he's having a really great freshman year. Just came off a huge win a couple weeks ago, making the game-winning shot versus Ohio State.
All right.
Yeah, the team just got ranked today for the first time of the season. So
wow,
it's really cool just to see him living out his dream. You know, like I'm living out my dream as a coach here. I'm watching him live out his dream to play college basketball. And I couldn't be more proud, but just love him and glad that he's close. He's only 2 hours away, and just really blessed to be his mom.
Yeah. So basketball runs in the family then?
Yes, it does.
What about your parents?
Yeah, well, my mom was a cheerleader, which is fun. It's funny.
Oh, I love that.
I know I got my athleticism from, I'm the baby girl. I have 4 older brothers. So I was a tomboy growing up. And I know I developed a love for the game of basketball by watching and trailing my brothers and following them everywhere they went to play basketball. So that's where I, kind of established a love for the game. But yeah, my parents didn't play.
So what about, did you, when you were growing up, were you always playing basketball with your brothers too? And just that's how you fell into it? Yeah,
I was just had a lot of energy. So I played all sports. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, track. I did everything just to keep active. And then my brothers, they were really good at basketball, and they would always go to the park and play. So I'd always follow them there, try to get on the court. They never let me play because I was the only girl around. So I think that's where I got my toughness from. But and then later just fell in love with the game by watching them. And then I just wanted to be like my brothers. And then it ended up opening so many doors for me in high school and college, and now, coaching at the university that I love.
Yeah. Now look at you. I mean, they wouldn't let you play. Now you're coaching. I mean, I don't know who won there, but I could take a wild guess. And I mean, I kind of mentioned it before here at Notre Dame. We always talk with the ND family. So can you tell me about kind of the relationship with your coaching staff? Do you hang out all the time outside of the games and practices, or how does that kind of work? I know me and my team, for some reason, our coach always makes fun of us. She's like, you see each other every day, all day, and then you want to spend your free time together. And we're like, yeah, I guess so.
That's awesome. That's like a closeness that I love. I'm a big people person. So I love being around people. Relationships matter to me, really important. And that's why I kind of built the staff that I built. We are very close-knit. Quickies Washington, she was my position coach here at Notre Dame. So she coached me here. Carol Owens recruited me here. She was the recruiting coordinator under Coach McGraw's staff. And then I recruited Michaela Mabry. So every person on my staff, we have some type of, relationship, or, we've worked together at some form or fashion at some point in all of our careers. But yeah, we hang out all the time. We like to go to dinner, but now COVID changes a lot of things. So a lot of ours is, social distance, or maybe we'll go to each other's house or something like that. But we're very close. We have I don't know, it's just like we have a bond, and it's really fun to be able to kind of have that balance of getting work done, but then also having a good time and, have that family environment. So it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So you would say that work hard, play hard is important here at NU.
Oh, absolutely.
For you guys.
Absolutely. We like to have fun. We work hard, but then we like to play harder.
I love that. And what about, so would you say it's the same for the women on the team? Did you say they're super close, or is it more just business relationships? How's that?
Yeah, you know what? We have a young group. So we have, a couple upperclassmen, but then we had a big freshman class. We had 6 newcomers with Dara Mabry, who was a transfer. So I think you definitely see a couple little groups, but I think that's just by whoever that they're comfortable being around. But I think we definitely have, like all teams, like we have a closeness. But on the court, that's where I always try to work on our chemistry. And that's where I feel like you'll see when we're winning games or things are going well, is because they have that chemistry, and they try to build that off the court. But unfortunately, COVID has taken away a lot of the things that we normally do as far as team bonding.
Yeah, I mean, pre-COVID, what would you say was your favorite kind of team bonding activity then, to kind of like make that family feel excited?
Yeah. Yeah, like we used to go bowling, and I know that's something you can do now, but we try to stay in our little bubble.
Yeah.
But so we would, we would go bowling, we would go to the movies. We would try to do a lot of different things, like, going to dinner together out in restaurants and things like that. Hackers when it's warm, and just doing a lot of going swimming. Like we used to do a lot of things together. So those things have kind of been more enclosed, and depending on 10 people or less, 15 or less, with all masks and stuff. So it's a lot different. But we've tried to find a way, even over this Christmas break, to try to to bond together. But it's definitely difficult, especially with masks on.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we're all kind of feeling that. But I mean, it's good to hear that you guys have come up with different ways to kind of keep that family feel going. And I wanted to ask you also, I know your motto this year is love, serve, mentor. Can you talk about where that came from? Was that inspired by something that happened maybe with your childhood and your family, or where is that originating from?
Yeah, you know what? That's just something that I live by. I'm a person that believes in great energy and love. I'm a Libra. Libra is all about balance and relationships and love. And that's just I've always been like that. I care a lot about people. I care about their feelings. And as a coach, I felt like as an assistant coach, that was kind of who I was. I was a player's coach. They all came to me. I still have great relationships with everyone. So as I took on this role, I wanted to make sure that I still had that DNA in me, to love and to serve, basically, because in this role, I'm serving the student athletes, and I'm giving back to this program that gave me so much as a player. So that's where service comes from. And then also the mentor part, again, is I'm coaching these young women not only to be great basketball players, but to impact the world when they graduate. So I have to mentor them, help them get developed, and help them navigate through this world. And so mentoring is a big part of what I do, but I don't feel like it's just about the X's and O's. It's about using their voice, making sure that I'm empowering them to be the best versions of themselves. And it's something that I feel like I kind of, my values that I've accumulated and what resonated with me before I took this job. And so when I took it, I knew that that's who I wanted to be as a head coach. And I wanted to make sure that that was always in the imprint of everything that I do.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really inspiring. I know all those women are super lucky to have you as a coach. I did want to say, you definitely give off Libra vibes, so I totally can see that. But that's so awesome to hear, and I know that we always talk about here creating an entire person, not just the athlete. So that's great to hear that you really keep that as close to the heart as you do. Absolutely. But I mean, this has been a great conversation. I was glad to hear about your family and your four older brothers. I'm glad they didn't bully you out of coming here. We need you. We're lucky to have you. So. But thank you so much, and thanks everybody for watching and listening, and this has been another episode of From a Distance with Lynette.
And as we roll on with the Niele Ivey Show for this segment, I want to get a chance to have Niele visit with a very special guest, and this is a segment that we like to call Catching Up. And here's Niele Ivey visiting with Muffet McGraw.
So welcome back to Catching Up with Coach Ivey. I am with the legend, Muffet McGraw. Thank you for blessing me with your presence on this show. I wanted to say I love you before I start this entire segment, and just wanted to know what's going on. Catch up all the Irish fans with what you're doing right now.
I feel like I'm busier than I want to be. I am working for ESPN. I'm in the studio for all the ACC games on Thursdays and Sundays. And it is so hard not to keep saying we every time I talk about the Irish. And I get chastised for it every week. And of course, I pick you to win every single game. But it's been fun. It's been fun getting to talk about some of those coaches that I didn't really like while I was there, that I couldn't say anything about.
I've heard you've done a phenomenal job, and I've watched a lot. But every time I talk to an ACC announcer, they're like, well, we've learned so much about the game, by just working with Coach McGraw.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. And then I'm teaching in the Mendoza Business School, which I love, the sports leadership class. I've had a lot of different athletes from different sports. We get some great discussions. And so I'm working on my syllabus right now, start on Wednesday. Awesome. And that's been a lot of fun. So I'm enjoying that. And then I'm anxious to start working with Jack Swarbrick when things get back to normal somehow.
What are you going to do with Jack?
I don't know, whatever he needs, whatever he wants me to work on, some special projects I think would be great. Hopefully I'll get to work with the coaches.
Okay, awesome. Wanted to talk about a little bit about your first year coaching. With me being a first year coach, take us back to your first year coaching at Notre Dame.
I think my first year, I was pretty much a wreck the entire season, which I am anyway, as you know, especially on
Really?
I don't miss game day. Let me just say that right now. I think it's one of those things where you look back and you go, there was so much I didn't know. There was just so many things that happened, and I wish I had had more experience so I could learn how to deal with them better and how to use my staff. I come in from Lehigh where, I didn't have a staff. So now I have all these people around me doing all this, and I was wondering what I was supposed to be doing. But it was a lot of stress because there's so much more off the court stuff when you're the head coach. You have to deal with so many things. And when I started, coaching was 90% X's and O's, and now it's 90% psychology. It's all about relationships and trying to motivate individually each player. What do they need? How can I help them get better? There's just so much more on your plate when you slide down that one seat. And it's almost like there's no advice you can be given because you kind of have to go through it. You've seen it, but then when you live it, it's so different. I think people on the outside, first of all, they don't know how hard coaching is and how much pressure is on, how much you take on because you feel like everything is your responsibility. Because it is, the bottom line, it always comes back to you. And so, I just worried about everything from recruiting, who we're going to sign and who we're going to get, and then how we're going to play and, every single play. So it's a lot. It's really a lot. And you're handling it so well. I watch you on the sideline and I am amazed. I wish I could have worn a mask actually when I was coaching because nobody would have had to hear some of the things. And thank God we had fans because, every player would have really been ready to leave because of the way I was screaming at them on the court. And, they could ignore me with the crowd. They can't ignore you now because there's nobody else talking. But you're so poised and patient. And you're doing such a fabulous job with this young group. And I know it's hard. I keep remembering last year, and they're so much further ahead than they were last year.
Oh, wow. That's a powerful comment. But I would say only reason that I feel this poised because you prepared me. You prepared me for this moment. I think we talk about it, or I talk about it a lot in all my interviews, but I watched you. So I watched the best. And so those 12 years as your assistant coach and then 5 as a player, like I watched it from the greatest, you're the GOAT, you're the greatest of all time. So I appreciate that, but that's just because I'm basically a reflection of you. Yeah, I've learned everything from you. So I want to say thank you for that.
Well, what a compliment to me, having you be a reflection of me. I leaned on you pretty hard during those 12 years.
So you talked a little bit about kind of navigating your first year. What were probably the hardest moment, your tenure as a coach? What was the hardest moment for you? And then what was your favorite moment?
I think the hardest moment is always ending your season on a loss. That's one of them. When you look back, and especially the close games, when you look back and you say, it was just one thing we could have done differently. Why didn't I do this? And I beat myself up about it all the time and trying to have a short memory, which is something that Enrique's tried to teach me, but I didn't quite learn the whole thing. And just having a short memory is a really good thing to have. And I have so many favorite moments. There's so many things I miss right now, including just walking out of the locker room and seeing our fans. I really miss that. I miss seeing that sea of green and hearing the band and having that support and knowing that they're all there because they love Notre Dame and they love our team, and just the camaraderie of our coaches in the locker room, before and after. And I wanted to ask you that, are you still eating popcorn before the games, or are you now a little more stressed?
No, I am very calm. I have play my little music or whatever. I do a wordscapes. How you always used to do.
Oh, yeah.
So I got that from you. I was like, okay, I get it. You have to do something that maybe is not basketball related. So I play my little app, game on my phone. I try to just meditation, music and just real calm. So I was wondering how I was going. The first couple games, my stomach, I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even eat, right before the game. But now I've kind of calmed down. So that's good.
Well, I feel like I didn't sleep for the past 33 years. So now I'm just
You're out like a night.
Are you getting any sleep?
I am. Initially, the first 6 months, even just being hired, I didn't sleep. I was just so excited and I didn't sleep at all. And then when the season started, I understand. I wake up in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. and I'm like, down screen with the back screen. And I'm like, what is going on? I can't sleep. So then, but assistant, I was out by like 8 o'clock and you were just like, oh gosh. But now I understand your mind is constantly racing, constantly trying to think about staff, recruiting, and what you can do, defense and offense. So I definitely feel that way. It's like, I'm getting used to that, my mind racing in that way. So
yeah,
kind of cool. So you have, I mean, if everyone can see all the accolades and all the championship banners and basketballs and awards, coach of the year, everything behind you, what could you identify to say the one moment was, because I know you have so many incredible moments. What was your favorite moment? Outside of me saying yes to come to Notre Dame, what was the other favorite?
And then yes to join the staff, and then yes to take over. And,
oh yeah.
This is my favorite moment. It is the picture of our alums gathered on the court after the championship game in Columbus. And I think there was about 40 people there. And just seeing how we've connected from Karen Robinson way back and Sarah Leifsher and Chrissy Davis all the way through, and how people of different ages have gotten to know each other and how they all come out in support of our team. I love that about the Final Four. We never really got to celebrate with them. So that moment, I think, was one that I will always treasure.
Right. And I think the biggest part of your legacy is the connection that we all feel as being after playing for you in the university. It's like, it's not just 4 years. We talk about the Notre Dame. It's the 4 for 40. So it's 40 years. It's not just the time you're here, but it's the connection that you have. You allow people to come back. You just bring this family atmosphere. So everyone feels like they're part of it. And so I would say that that's definitely number the top 5 for me. It's like everyone felt a part of it. So the ones that in that picture that weren't part of a Final Four and never won a national championship, you brought them all in the locker room. They came on the court. They might have been cutting the nets down. I don't know, but let them feel like they were part of it. And that's the unique part of Notre Dame. Your family, even when you don't have that jersey on, you always feel a part of the family. And that's what I always loved and admired about you. Just the way it's a uniqueness that you have, that not a lot of coaches have that special part.
Yeah. I had to learn that throughout my career initially, because as you know, I'm not warm and fuzzy, and there's a lot of things that I love about you that really helped, because you complimented me so well in so many areas. But it is important, that relationship. You finally learn that, I think, at a point in your life when what's really important, and it's definitely the people. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your balance of being a mother and being a wife. We rarely get a chance to talk about this, but there's so many things I admire about you, that you have inspired me and have helped me be the woman that I am today and the coach that I am today. But I always would watch, even as a student athlete, Murph come in after school and he'll run on the court just to see you, and you would light up. And it was and then Matt being your biggest supporter and fan, and was basically, the wind beneath your wings, always being there for you. Watching that, it shows women that you can do both. You can be a successful coach and you can be a mother and a wife. You don't have to do one or the other. You can wear all 3 hats. And so I've always been inspired by that. And so just talk about the balance and what that meant for you to have a family and Murph and Matt.
Well, I think this is it's a hard job. And I think if you don't have a great partner, it's even harder. And having somebody to share the load with and do with a lot of things at home, like the cooking and the laundry and, just being there to support you, because it's so much more fun to have somebody to share good times with as it is to kind of take some of the burden off of the stress. And then having kids, I think, is really difficult for women. You have to make so many choices, and the guilt that we feel throughout our careers, what we feel like, we should be home more. We should be at his events more. I'm missing so many things that he's doing. And I finally learned that was really a good thing, because, a lot of kids today are a little spoiled in that they think they're the center of attention for everyone, and the world kind of revolves around them. So Murph had to learn some lessons early on that he really wasn't going to be the center of the universe. And so he had to be a little more independent. He had to understand that, life isn't fair. Everything doesn't always go your way. And I think valuable lessons to learn as a kid growing up. So, and he has an appreciation for strong, independent, powerful women. And I love that, because he thinks nothing of his boss as a woman, and in the IT field, that's kind of rare. So for him, it's no big deal. He's used to women leading, and he learned a lot of great things about that. And And I think that all of the things that we went through as a family, he does things like that at home. He's a feminist. He can do the cooking. He can do a lot of things. And they have he and Francesca have just a great team approach to marriage. And, I think we battle so many stereotypes, and people ask us questions and talk about what we're wearing and who's watching the kids instead of, the actual job that we're doing. And so I think that we're still trying to break through some of those ceilings. And I think with what happened in Washington this year with having our first female vice president and, swearing in so many members of the cabinet that are women, and diversity, and so many good things are happening that, I think it's going to change, but it's going to take a while.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to working mothers?
I think don't try to be it all. I think that you have to ask for help. I think that as women, we hate to ask for help because we think we're supposed to be perfect. We think, well, I can handle it all. I can be super mom. I can do it all. And nobody can do it all. And so I think you may have to make sure that your partner is somebody that's really taking an equal load and doing things. And I think that's so important to, you got to put some things aside. My house wasn't the cleanest house on the block. And, there's some things that are just going to have to be let go. And, you have to take some time for yourself, and women don't like to do that either. And I think it's so important that we have those little outlets where we can just, get out, go for a walk, do something to take care of our mental state.
Absolutely. And I thought for me being a single mother, I felt like the environment that you created here at Notre Dame, like you allowed me to have that work-life balance. And I think that's important. So even if there's, bosses on this call, like you have to have that, and you have to set that environment for mothers to be able to feel that they can do both and they're not going to be overwhelmed. And I felt that way. You allowed Jaden to travel with me. We had a very family oriented staff, and Jaden could come around, all of her assistants' kids could come around, and you created that atmosphere to allow, working mothers to feel that they could do both. And so I want to say thank you for that, because Jaden just being around us for the past 12 years, his best, his favorite player, biggest role model was Skylar for the first time at 4 years old. So he was exposed also to women as leaders, which he watched you, and then he watched myself. So I want to say thank you for that. But also, so what would be your advice for rising coaches, or just coaches in general that are listening to this podcast?
Well, I think it's important to believe in yourself. I think that women, sometimes we lack the confidence in ourselves that we really need. And we start listening to too many people. And I heard a great quote just today about that FDR quote about the man in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat, but they're in there because they have the courage to be in there fighting. And so don't listen to people that aren't in that arena. If they're not laying down there in the dirt, doing what we're doing, and sometimes we're failing and sometimes we're not. But they're trying to tell us how to do our job. So, I stopped worrying about what other people were thinking. I don't get on social media to look and see what people are saying. I just want to get my path and do what I think is best, because people are going to criticize you whether you do it one way or the other. So you might as well do it the way you want to. And at least you can say, I'm doing it with integrity. I'm doing it how I think it should be done. And I think there's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be failure. And how you deal with that failure is all about how you become a success. Because if you don't have the failure, you'll never have the confidence to continue on and to learn from it. And you have to learn from it and move on. Men, they put it in the rearview mirror. Women, we're carrying it around with us. Like, remember that Oklahoma game? I haven't gotten over that yet. It was like 2011. So I think we got to learn how to let things go and be more like men.
Yeah, absolutely. As a student athlete, you always found a way to bring powerful women on campus, women in leadership roles. And I didn't realize the importance of that until I think I got older. And then being on your staff, you do the same thing. We bring, the CEOs with different companies, former Notre Dame student athletes or students that come to campus, Condoleezza Rice, for example, to speak to our teams. So talk about the impact of, just showing our team what women in leadership roles and what that is, and just talk a little bit about that.
I think there's a huge stereotype in the country about leadership and what it looks like. And if you ask grade school kids to draw a picture of a leader, they're always going to draw a man. And I think that when you look, especially in sports, and you're talking about, you ask my team and my class, think of a leader, they immediately think of all these guys who are coaches. And so women, it's almost like a secret who the top leaders in the country are. You have to really search for that. And so I just wanted to make sure that our women were more prepared and more aware, and just educate them a little bit more. So, when they're on the baseline about to run a sprint, I could say, name the 3 women Supreme Court justices, trying to bring some like real world stuff in there so that they could know that, well, first of all, there are 3 women, and what about the first woman to do this or that? And trying just to really educate them is the biggest thing. So finding people that are coming on campus was difficult because that was something that you really had to work and make sure you knew who was going to be around. But I wanted them to see those role models so they can see what they can be. And I think it was so important for them to find their voice and use their platform and be able to talk. And that's why I'm so proud of Skylar and Brianna and Enrique and really all of the women, Devereaux. There's so many great women we've had that are willing to stand up on Twitter and on social media and really stand up for what they believe in.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, like representation matters. And I think that's why me following your legacy, being the first African-American female head coach in Notre Dame, like it's important. There's young girls that are looking at me saying that if Coach Ivey can do it, then I might have the opportunity to do it and to dream big. So talk a little bit about that, just how important representation is. And I think you do a great job of using your voice. You're always, if there's a march going on downtown South Bend, you were the first one there. You've always been a powerful leader. We think you need to run for in politics and in Congress one day, but just talk about the importance of your platform and what it means.
Well, I think it's so important that young girls especially, can look up and see women in charge. And I think that I would love to see it start at the AAU level when they're 6 years old playing soccer and you go out there and who's coaching the team? It's always somebody's dad. Why isn't it somebody's mom? There's so many women that have experience in all these areas. But anytime, I know with my son, anytime Murph played on the team, it was always somebody's dad was coaching the team. And I think that's where it starts. And if we have more women out there doing that, you look at AAU, when we go to recruit, 95% of the coaches are guys. And so they never see them. And you turn on the TV and you're watching a show, and the star of the show, it's always a man. And it's always about, he's always the one, he's making more money. The director's always a man, the producer's always a man, all the things that they can see, between Hollywood and sports. I think they're the 2 biggest venues we have where we can really do better. We can show kids that there are more women out there, and having Becky Hammond, having you in the NBA. Having all these chances, and then to see women who are reffing, in the NFL and women in the NBA, it's just great. And I think the more that kids growing up can see that, it becomes normal. And right now we're still at that stage where we're going, the first time we had a female governor, the first time we have an African-American coach. Well, it's about damn time. It's past time. So I couldn't be happier, but it's a small step, but we need to keep making them.
Absolutely. What would be your keys to success? Because you are the most successful person that I know that I'm connected to. So what are your keys?
I think number one is honesty. I think it's so important that people know exactly what their role is, where you stand, what you think. I think that is number one. And then I think trying to be good at your job. I think competence is really important. You have to do the little things to learn what you can. That's what I loved about you. You were such a student of the game. You love going out. We go out to the Celtics and watch them practice, and you'd be always going to see somebody else practice to learn from them. And that intellectual curiosity, I think, is so important, that you always want to keep getting better. You're never happy with where you are. You always want to improve. And, I think you have to have those goals, and you have to have those things where you know what you're striving for, you know what your expectations are. But it's also about empathy and the people that you're around. And you have to make sure that, because I was competitive, I wanted to win. And sometimes I would forget about some of the people. And I think that trying to have a blend of that is exactly what you are. And I think that's even better as a leader, to have that empathy and compassion that you have.
Awesome. Well, you did a great, fantastic job, Coach Raw. You're the most successful woman. You have done it all. Hall of Famer, most winningest coach in the history of Notre Dame. Just phenomenal woman. And that's why I wanted you on, because just wanted to honor you, honestly, because I look up to you so much. And I know everybody understands the love that we have for each other and our connection, our relationship, but it goes beyond just the game. You're somebody I've always been able to lean on. You were somebody as a player that I never wanted to disappoint. So if I was the worst in practice, I went home and I'm like, gosh, I just let Coach McGraw down. I never wanted to let you down. I wanted to run through a wall for you. And that just shows who you are and your impact in my life. So I want to say thank you. Obviously, thank you for you know, it was a lot of hard work, but you set me up for this, you know, like you passed the torch to me and you molded me, and I can never repay you for that. So I always want to say thank you. And thank you for that. Okay.
Easiest decision ever, having you around.
So I have a couple just little, I guess, rapid fire. Okay. So favorite book?
Legacy by James Kerr.
Okay. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite genre of music?
Pink.
Really? Oh yeah.
I don't have a genre.
That always on the road. Excuse me, on the road recruiting, we used to always listen to that. Favorite quote to live by, or motto that you live by?
I think that FDR quote is one of my favorites about the man in the arena. But I also, one of the ones that I live by is about what you allow is what will continue.
Taking notes. I got a lot of great nuggets today. Thank you for joining us. Again, love you so much. I mean, I could be on here forever just to show you how much and tell you how much that I love you. I don't know everybody knows that, but thank you for everything you've done for me and everything you've done for this program. I promise you that I'm going to continue to work hard to try to continue your legacy. You built the foundation, and I'm trying to maintain it. And I will always honor you here while I'm here.
Well, you have been a joy in my life since the moment I first did a home visit with you, and I couldn't be happier for you to be where you are right now. And there is nobody that wants you to be successful more than I do. So I love you too. And I've enjoyed our moment together.
Yes, it was awesome. Thank you so much.
And welcome back to this edition of the Niele Ivey Show. As we get a chance to look ahead what's coming up for the Irish. And Coach, if you want to make a name for yourself and this team really gets to make a mark nationwide, why don't you play the number one team on the road? Louisville coming up next.
Oh, so excited for that opportunity to play at Louisville. Number one team in the country. Who wouldn't be excited to have that type of challenge? I think our team, this whole week, we're going to prepare for that. And again, we're the underdog. You know, we have no pressure on us. So that's always an exciting feeling. And again, to be able to go out, have another opportunity to play one of the best teams in the country, I can't wait. So excited to see what we bring on Sunday.
And then you get a lot easier game. You only have to play number 4 North Carolina State the next time out. So plenty of challenges, but that's what this league's about.
Absolutely. You know, this is the league that we're in. You know, we are in one of the top conferences in women's basketball. It's only going to prepare us, only going to help us. It's a two huge battles, huge contests, but also opportunities. So I'm looking forward to it. I always love a challenge, and excited to be able to say that I can represent and be a part of this experience the next 2 weeks.
That's great. And of course, then we get to put our suitcase away and play Syracuse at home on the 18th. So that'll be nice. And our thanks to Coach Niele Ivey for spending some time looking ahead. This segment brought to you by West Bend. And we'll get a chance down the road to have another visit with Coach Niele Ivey on the Niele Ivey Show. And we appreciate you being with us. Until then, I'm Bob Nagle. Go Irish.